Some mountains welcome the crowds with ropes and rescue plans. Others erase even skilled climbers without warning or fame. Here, a wrong step means no second chances, and history keeps punishing those who believe preparation is enough. So, why do a select few still choose these unforgiving heights, knowing rescue will never come? The truth begins where isolation and ambition collide. In 1924, George Mallory and Andrew Irvin set out from their high camp on Everest's north side, climbing into a world where isolation was absolute. Their equipment was primitive by any modern standard, including heavy wool and gabardine, unreliable oxygen sets that froze or jammed, and no way to call for help. As they moved higher, the mountain's silence closed in. There were no radios, no weather forecasts, no one waiting with a rescue plan. Noel Odell, watching through breaks in the clouds, glimpsed them climbing strongly toward the summit. Then they vanished. Hours passed. No signals came down the mountain. When the weather turned, hope faded. The rest of the team waited, then descended, leaving the mystery behind. Mallory's body would not be found until 1999, preserved in ice at over 8,100 meters. Irvine's remains are still lost to the slopes. In those years, climbing at altitude meant accepting that even the best could disappear without a trace. There were no second chances, only the raw exposure of men against the mountain, with no help coming and no certainty of return. This was the era when risk was not managed or shared. It was shouldered alone with every step into the unknown. The arrival of technology changed some mountains, but not all. On certain routes, fixed ropes now guide climbers up ice walls that once demanded hours of labor. GPS devices pinpoint location even in whiteout, shrinking the unknown to a set of coordinates. Permits for Everest's south side, issued by the hundreds, fund teams of Sherpas who install ladders across crevasses and manage rescue logistics. Helicopters wait at base camp, ready to evacuate the injured or exhausted, at least where the air is dense enough for rotors to bite. Commercial expeditions have turned parts of the Himalaya into managed environments, where risk can be anticipated and mistakes are sometimes reversible. But these advances stop at invisible borders. On the north side of Everest, or the remote faces of K2 and Annapurna, fixed ropes are rare, and GPS offers little comfort when rescue is out of reach. Political boundaries restrict access, limiting the number of climbers and the infrastructure that follows. The result is a stark divide. Some lines are buffered by technology and support, while others remain as exposed as they were a century ago. The safety gap is not an accident. It is the outcome of selective modernization, where the mountain's character depends on which side you climb and how much help can follow you up the slope. On Everest's north side, the numbers tell their own story. Fewer than 100 climbers reach for the summit each season, but the fatality rate per summiter rivals, and sometimes even exceeds, the south. The Himalayan database tracks the pattern. In years when crowds thin and the mountain grows quiet, the odds do not improve. They sharpen. For Francis Arsentiev, the North Route's reputation was not just a statistic. In 1998, she and her husband Sergei set out from their high camp, aiming for the summit without the certainty of rescue. The wind scoured the ridge. The air, thin enough to blur thoughts, made every step a calculation. Francis reached the top late in the day. On the descent, darkness and exhaustion closed in. Her oxygen ran out above 8,500 meters. She collapsed, unable to move, as Sergei went for help below. He never returned. Other climbers found Frances alive the next morning, young, sitting in the snow, barely able to speak. They tried to help, but the altitude left everyone weak and confused. No one could carry her down. She died where she sat, just below the summit ridge. Sergei's body was discovered days later, lower on the mountain, his attempt to save her ending in silence. The numbers on the north side are not abstract. Each fatality per summiter ratio contains a story like Frances's, one where the only help is the person standing next to you. And sometimes even that is not enough. K2 does not invite crowds. In a typical year, fewer than 50 climbers attempt its summit. The mountain's remote faces, north, west, and the infamous bottleneck are shaped by more than steepness. Pakistani permits are scarce, border crossings unpredictable, and the nearest rescue helicopter often sits 2 valleys away, grounded by weather or politics. Veteran climbers like Tamara Lunger speak of the route as a place where every decision carries its own weight. There are no ladders across Siracs, no fixed lines for comfort. The margin is measured in minutes and meters, not in backup plans. Annapurna's north face is even more selective. Fewer than 30 climbers reach for its summit each season, and almost a third do not return. The fatality rate, 29% since records began, makes it the deadliest of the world's highest peaks. Here, avalanches sweep the face without warning, and rescue is a rumor, not a reality. The mountain's history is a ledger of names and numbers, each entry a reminder that logistics and luck rarely align. Nanga Parbat's Rupal face stands nearly 4,000 meters tall, the longest sheer wall on Earth. Fewer than 20 climbers attempt it each year. Muhammad Ali Sadpara, a local legend, once described the climb as a test of patience and self-reliance. Permits are tightly controlled, sometimes withheld for years due to political tension or security threats. There are no commercial expeditions, no crowds, no guarantees. The only ethic that matters is to carry your own load, make your own decisions, and accept that no one is coming if you fail. On these routes, the rules are set by distance, weather, and policy. Every summit is a solitary act, every descent an unshared burden. The mountains do not forgive mistakes, and the barriers to entry are as much about access as ambition. Above 6,500 to 7,000 meters, the rules change. Helicopters that can reach climbers on Everest's south side or K2's lower camps simply cannot fly. Thin air robs rotors of lift, engines lose power, and the weather turns without warning. Even the best pilots in specially modified aircraft stop well below the highest camps. If a climber collapses on the north face of Everest, the bottleneck of K2, or Annapurna's upper slopes, there is no chance of an aerial rescue. The only help available is whoever stands nearby, people who are already exhausted, hypoxic, and facing the same dangers. Statistics from the Himalayan database and expedition reports show a pattern. Most deaths on these remote routes happen after the summit, during descent. Exhaustion, lack of oxygen, and delayed decisions turn small problems into fatal ones. In these places, survival depends not on strength or heroics, but on timing and luck. The mountain's isolation is absolute, and the margin for error disappears. Above 8,000 meters, the rules of survival are written by biology, not by experience. High-altitude physiologists describe the death zone as a place where the body cannot adapt. Every hour spent at these heights strips away strength and clarity. Oxygen levels drop so low that blood saturation falls below 70%, starving the brain and muscles. Judgment falters. Memory slips. Climbers lose the ability to recognize their own limits. Even the most skilled mountaineers, those with decades of preparation, find that willpower and planning are no match for the steady decline. Veteran alpinists talk about self-reliance and restraint, but they admit that no amount of caution can stop the clock. The longer someone remains above 8,000 meters, the greater the risk of cerebral or pulmonary edema, both of which can end a life in hours. As climate change brings warmer temperatures, the hazards only multiply. Ice softens, rockfall increases, and routes that once held steady become unpredictable. In these conditions, the mountain is not a test of character. It is a countdown, and time always runs out. In a world racing to make the wild accessible, these mountains remain immune to shortcuts or rescue. No gear or innovation can change the fact. Above 8,000 meters, survival is on a timer. Here, nature alone sets the rules, and the price for miscalculation is absolute. Share your thoughts below.